What is new?
Not much. You?
Not much. I literally have just been reading nonstop. I have like a mountain of tasks to do, and I've decided just to sit with my stack of library books like a little gremlin. But I finally finished volume three of Boys Run the Riot,
Oh,
which was
nice.
awesome.
That's good.
Was not prepared for everything that was going to happen in that volume.
Nope.
I feel like you warned me, and I was still unprepared.
I did warn you.
Um, you did warn me, and I was still unprepared. Uh, but I have volume four, so I'm like ready to actually finish the series.
Yeah. Nice. Good.
So,
I need to get to volume four too.
yes. So that's been my thing lately, just reading and
Yeah.
not doing the things on my to-do list.
Not doing anything else.
Yeah,
Uh, it happens. It happens.
you know.
Okay. So, we want to talk about our favorite shows that make us want to say yes, chef today.
Yes. I have so many shows that like I've been looking at and it like one of the shows that I feel like we're both going to talk about in particular literally made me check out a whole bunch of books from the library on that particular cuisine because it was like I have to make this like now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like these are the shows that are like super crave worthy and like super like I have to eat this food.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones we have to have. But
It makes you hungry to watch.
yes.
They all do.
Yes.
It's like, I wish I could cook this well.
Yeah. It's like inspiring in the food sense. But I mean also they're just good shows.
They are just good shows too.
Yeah.
Can you hear my dog?
I can.
It's just,
She's a happy girl.
yeah, what she ate, so she's feeling good. I think that's
Yeah.
why.
She's like, I want attention now.
Okay, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You start. I want to know what's on yours
Okay,
first.
first one I have is Sugar Dog Life, which I know I've talked to you about a million times
I
already,
know, and I still haven't watched it.
but it's so cute. So basically, we follow Isumi, who's like a baby-faced university student. He looks a lot younger than he is. And one night after his cooking club, he's coming home from drinking and he gets stopped by a police officer who thinks he's a minor.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so he gets walked home and then he ends up seeing this police officer at the convenience store he works at constantly because he's always stopping there to get lunch. And just over time, they develop a friendship. He goes over and starts cooking for him, and things happen. But it's adorable. I guess one of the things I loved about it is like obviously the food because Isumi like he loves cooking. He's in a cooking club at school, but he's not interested in being a chef. He's not interested in like doing it professionally. He's just always had to cook for himself. So he knows how to just cook things with whatever's in his fridge, which I think is really nice because it's not like he had a recipe and he's trying to like make something specific. He's like, okay, let's just see what you've got and we'll throw it together, which I feel like is relatable for like a lot of us. We're kind of like, I don't know what to have for dinner. Let's just throw it together.
Yes.
It's like, what's in the fridge today? I don't know. And you just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Um, it's also just really cute. Like Isumi, like he looks like this really cute kid, but he's so grouchy. And I think it's really funny because you have him being really grouchy and Amasawa, the cop, who's like total opposite, like very bubbly, very sweet, and like doesn't care about his grumpiness at all. Like anytime Isumi brushes him off, he's like, okay, we're cool, whatever. Like, I'll see you tomorrow, no big deal. Like, it's very sweet how they interact with each other. And like, I think Amasawa was very almost naive in a way because he'll say things that like could be taken a little bit flirty, but obviously isn't flirty. It's kind of like, oh, I love having you here. Oh, it's so nice to eat with you. And it's like Isumi's like, he doesn't know what he's saying, but now I'm feeling feelings.
my
You
goodness.
know, like it's cute. It's just soft. It's cute. I don't know. If you need a soft, cute thing with like tasty looking food, it's a great choice. I love it. It's adorable.
That seems right up my alley, and that's the thing that like I really do want to watch it. Um, but I do think that is like super relatable, just being like, okay, I have these things in the fridge.
Yeah.
And and that's kind of like how I am, especially at the end of the month every month, just being like, okay, I gotta like no grocery shopping, no
Yeah.
anything. Like we
Yeah.
gotta figure out what we're doing with what's left.
Just use it up.
Like,
It's
yeah.
nice. I think the other thing too, like there is a bit of an age gap. So obviously Usumi is a university student, so he's a little bit younger, but it's kind of nice that like Amasawa doesn't cook well. He's not good at nutrition. Like he just eats whatever. And you have the younger one being like, you need to eat better. Like you need to eat healthy. Like here's how to make a healthy meal really quickly. So I liked that aspect of it too. Also, as a side note, like the fact that Amasawa is a cop is important to how they meet, but it's not like a huge part of the plot. Like we see him at work a couple times, but it's not like a cop show. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's not like a cop romance. It's not like a
yeah.
cop centered thing.
Yeah, like he is a cop and we do see what he does a little. Like honestly, I think it's only one episode that kind of focuses on what he does for work. And then the rest of it is just like two guys getting close to each other. So it's not heavy on his job. It's heavier on like the food and them eating and Isumi being like totally confused with his feelings.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
It's adorable. And it's short. It's I think it's 8 episodes if I'm remember 8 or 10. So it's short.
Yeah.
It's a quick one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It sounds
that's
adorable.
it is. It's very cute.
And it's funny because like you specifically mentioned how he's really good at cooking but doesn't want to be a chef. And that's something that like really is a strong conversation in the show that I picked also.
Hmm.
Because I picked I Hear the Sunspot, which I know you have seen and I know
Yeah.
you've read.
Yeah.
And I will say like the show and the manga both fantastic. Like highly recommend both of them.
Hmm.
Um But like in this, you have a um deaf student who is progressively losing more of his hearing, and he is sitting eating lunch one day when out of the bushes comes tumbling a very hungry, very loud other person.
Hmm.
And he just kind of falls headfirst into his life and is like, "Oh my God, your lunch looks amazing. Can I have some?" Basically, I'm so hungry. And it kind of starts this thing where they start bonding over food. And like, I think to me, the thing that is so remarkable about this is the way that they connect over food. Because for me, like, food as a form of connection is this huge thing. And they do like eventually connect in other ways. But the main way that they grow attached to each other and the way that they initially meet is like over this bento box and over this like the food situation. And not just that, but like Taishi's reaction specifically to the food is so important to Kohei, who like initially gives him the bento and shares that with him. Um, so for me, that's like the purity of the show and like its boiled down form is like seeing that reaction. And then as they grow closer, you have Kohei like trying to find out Taishi's favorite food and making that for him. That
Hmm.
hamburger steak that like is from his childhood. Um, and so you have like all of these aspects of this show that are so well done. You have the disability representation. You have this like friends to kind of ambiguous lovers. You have this like quiet ace arrow coding that I think comes up but isn't really specifically defined. But I really think that the way that the food is handled is what is so amazing. um, but to me, it's like Kohei is amazing at cooking. And people ask him, like, oh, you should be a chef, or oh, you should take over your mom's like cooking class or something. Like people suggest this. And he is so clear on like, I want to go study law. I want to do this other thing. And to me, like that's something that's so important because there is this strong push, both in shows and in real life, of like, you need to monetize every hobby you have. You need to, like, if you are good at this thing, how can you make money at this thing? And we've got this whole like hustle culture of
Yep.
like, if you're good at this, you need to like make this your career. You need to run with this. And you have this thing that Kohei is good at. And he's like, I really love cooking for you. I really love the reaction that I get from you when you cook, like when you eat the food that I make. I don't want to do this for other people. I don't want to do this as a job. I
Yep.
don't want to do this like as my life. I have other passions I want to follow. I have other dreams, but I just want to make you food because I love the way that you react. And that to me is like the best part of what that show is.
I agree. Like that's something that's so sweet is like when they're cooking for somebody else and they want to make someone happy with their food, which is different than wanting to be a chef or wanting to run cooking classes or wanting to own a restaurant. Like it's not the same motive. Like it is in a way, but not quite.
Yeah. It's like it's not the same thing. It's like there is a different motivation behind that, I
Yeah.
think. And it's like you can love to cook and not want to share that with the whole world in the same way that like you can want to share that with your family.
Hmm.
Um, or like you can love to cook and be like, I want to have a food blog and I want to inspire other people to learn to cook for themselves versus I want to be a teacher and like show them hands-on how to do this versus I want to be a chef and make the food for them and have them enjoy it in its completed state. Like those
Yeah.
are all different ways of sharing food with other people. And I like seeing that representation of like, I love the way you react to this. This is something that's only for you.
It's more intimate. Like it's just like a private thing you share together versus giving it to other people or opening that up in a bigger way.
Yeah.
It's funny because that's actually similar to what happens in my next recommendation, which is Let's Eat Together, Aki and Haru. And in it, we have childhood friends, Aki and Haru, who end up moving in together when they go to college. And it's pretty much like slice of life. We just see their life in school and how they interact together. But Haru finds out that Aki is actually a really good cook, and he never knew, even though they've been friends since like middle school. But through the show, we see that Aki just likes to cook for Haru. Like he's a good cook. He cooks for himself. He cooks to eat, obviously, but he much would rather cook something that he knows Haru will enjoy because he loves watching him eat. He loves watching that reaction of like how he enjoys it, if it's delicious or not, if he wants seconds. Like he's always very careful about making sure that there's enough for Haru to have seconds because he knows he's going to like this dish or he knows that this is his favorite thing or whatever. And I think one of the reasons I like this show, while the food is really great and the cooking is really great, because we see so many different types of meals or ways of cooking, it's also that like Aki and Haru already had that established relationship. They've been best friends for years. And over the time of living together, Aki starts to realize like, I think there's more feelings towards Haru than there've been before. And he doesn't know what to do with that because he doesn't want things to change and he doesn't want to lose his best friend. So there's a mix of emotions happening where, they're in university, so obviously life is changing, like they're moving forward, they're looking for jobs, they're doing all these things, but they also want to stay together. They want to continue to be best friends. And Aki is grappling with this like what do I do next? Like how do I move forward? Because the idea is when they graduate university, they stop living together. They go their separate ways, they get jobs, they move into their own place. So, you have that kind of push and pull of like, I love being with him, I love cooking for him, we're best friends, but this is going to end. And I think the one thing interesting with this, because this is a movie, it's got like a sequel. So in the end of the movie, if things aren't wrapped up, like the first movie, things are not complete, it's not finished. So you really, I think you have to watch the second one to get the whole story because you kind of see that Haru might have been questioning things earlier on, but we didn't see his side of the story until the second movie. So I don't know, it was just very like warm. It's like a very cozy story, you know, like it just feels nice and cozy. And while they're grappling with their emotions, it all centers around eating together. Like they eat with their friends, they eat with each other, they eat when they're sad, they eat when they're stressed. Like it's all just eating together and getting closer over food.
Yeah. And that's such a big period of change to be going through. Like, we're now in this new stage of life, but to have the two constants be like, we have to eat every single day, like
Yeah.
that's sustenance. And here's this person who has been a constant in my life and is continuing to be a constant in my life,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of in this new context. So you've got like all of these changes, but then you have those two constants
Yeah.
is a really cool kind of concept
It's
to
really
kind of like think
nice.
about.
It's really sweet because you see like why they're friends, like because they're so different from each other. Like Aki is like complete chaos energy, like he's hyper and bubbly and loud, and Haru is way more reserved and quiet. Like they're very much complete opposites. But there's even a scene where they go to the beach with some of their other friends, and some of their friends are like, I see why they're friends. Like, I see why there is no space between them for anybody else. Like, they're perfect for each other. And I think that's really nice to see that, like, whether it was romantic or not, their friends recognize, like, they are closest to each other and that's okay. And they're allowed to have that relationship.
Yeah.
Like, it's just sweet. Like, I just love the two of them. And I love how they navigate their friendship because it's obviously deep and it's complicated because they've been friends for so long and things are changing, but it's like they have so much care for each other.
I think that's really interesting too when you have that kind of like long-term connection. That says so much about kind of the way in which you interact, having
Mm-hmm.
that kind of time together.
Yeah, because they knew each other already when they moved in, right? And like, yes, they were still learning about each other because they'd never lived together, but they knew all their favorite things. They knew what they were interested in. Like, they knew everything except for how do they live on a daily basis, you know?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big adjustment.
I definitely recommend it. Like it's really sweet, and because it's a movie, like it's short. You know, I think it's an hour and a half movie,
Yeah.
so you can knock it out.
Yeah. And then to watch, the sequel, that would be literally 3 hours. That's like the perfect like weekend watch
Yeah,
of like it's not too long. It's just a quick little thing you can kind of binge in a session.
exactly.
Yeah. And see, like my next one is kind of opposite in that the characters actually don't know each other going into it.
Hmm.
So it's completely them trying to learn each other completely. Because my next pick is Last Twilight. Um, and so you have these two characters who come from very different walks of life. You have Moke, who is coming from kind of a poor situation. He has lost his entire family. He's lost his sister. He's lost his parents. And he's in this really rough situation. He's doing everything he can to survive. He's taking odd jobs. He's just gotten out of jail, um, which kind of limits his opportunities. A lot of people aren't willing to hire him with that on his record. And then you have Day, who has come from a wealthy family. He is a badminton champion. He is kind of at the top of everything, but then he's just gotten this like he's found out that he has a degenerative eye condition that has caused him partial blindness that's going to eventually make him completely blind. And he needs a caregiver. And he is incredibly stubborn and incredibly angry. And a lot of that anger is kind of at his condition, at the world around him, at the ways in which um, he's no longer able to participate in the life he was before because of his new disability. Um, but what happens is you have this kind of tough guy who comes into his life And it's like, I'll be your caregiver, whatever, but I'm not going to take your crap. I'm not going to sit there and like deal with the fact that you want to sit there and trash talk me. You want to talk down to me. You want to act like you're better than everybody. I'm not dealing with that. Like, you're going to take things the way I dish it out. But the way that food plays into this is so interesting because it plays in two ways. One, you have Day, who is like super set in his way. His mom is a world-renowned chef, and he will only eat her food. Moke has cooked to get by. He's done odd jobs. He knows how to cook. And so he just kind of looks at him and he's like, listen, your mom's not around. Like, I'm not going to constantly make her frozen dinners and stuff for you. You eat what I have for you, or you don't eat. I don't know what to tell you. And so he's kind of like shifting this balance for Day in each of these like interactions. And Day is having to learn to trust someone who isn't his mom for the first time
Mm-hmm.
and rely on someone else. And that is like the way that he uses food kind of in that way is really interesting. But also, Moke's proximity to this chef starts granting him opportunities that he didn't have before. So he's learning more about cooking. He has access to better ingredients. He's starting to get opportunities that he didn't have before, which is leveling up his ability to cook in new ways. Um, but we also see food in terms of accessibility because what happens is Moke works very hard to learn how to make life more accessible for Day. And it's in little things. Like he'll wear a super bright t-shirt that Day can actually see. Um, and we'll see those things, but he learns from another person who is blind that if he can tell him like the spoon is at the 3 o'clock position, the salt is at the 9 o'clock position. Like he can tell him based on a clock that he's been able to see before where the items around him are. So he's not just having to fumble for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's able to make things like the dining process more accessible. And we see that when Moke's not around, no one else knows how to make life more accessible for him. And we see that struggle. And so for me, the way that like food plays into Last Twilight is less about the fact that Moke's life is improving in relation to food and more about the fact that food is used as a means of accessibility and a means of connection for them. And it's like really the way in which we see Moke is trying so hard to learn how to make life better for Day and how to make it so these things that were a challenge, where he was like spilling things on himself and spilling things across the table, that's no longer an issue. And like, as someone with a progressive disability, that was like amazing to me to like see this is not a big deal for me to make life more accessible for you, for me to make life easier for you.
Yeah. I think that's not something we see a lot. Having someone else do what they need to do to make your life more accessible, like as the person who has a disability and you're trying to navigate, especially if it's new, right? Like it's, you don't know what to, you haven't had the experience, you don't know what to do, you're not sure how to figure out different situations. So having someone actively being like, let's make this easier, let's find out the best way to deal with this situation is huge. Like that's a huge deal because not a lot of people do that. Like a lot of people just feel bad for someone with a disability rather than trying to be like, okay, what can I do? They're just kind of like, oh, that's so sad. I'll just do everything for you, which
You don't
not
always know how
great.
to advocate.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't always advocate for yourself. But that was the thing is like it felt like everyone in Day's life was like, "Oh, I'll tiptoe around you. Oh, you don't want to do this. I'm not going to make you do this." So like
Mm-hmm.
if he didn't want to go outside, they weren't going to make him. And Moke was like, "No, you can still do this. Like this is a thing that you can do. Let's go do it." And
Yeah.
he would kind of like push him beyond what his like self-imposed limits were. And sometimes he would be harsh with him, but it was like also that was what Day needed to kind of keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I'm not going to hand you the spoon. I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you how to find the spoon yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like he made it accessible So Day had the ability to do those things himself versus I'm going to make it accessible by doing it for you.
What's creating independence, right? Like you're still able to learn how to live life. You just have to do it differently. Like you can still do it. It's just got to be different than what you're used to. And I think
Yeah.
that's a big deal because most people want independence. Like that's a
Yeah.
generally a typical human trait is just to want to be able to do things yourself, right? So helping someone get there, I think, is like an amazing thing to do for that person because they want that. Like they want to be able to do it themselves.
Yes. Exactly.
So that's it's actually funny that you talked about that one when my next one is not obviously not the same thing because it's not about a disability, but Perfect Propose is like it has using food to make somebody's life better when they probably wouldn't do it for themselves. So we follow Hero, who's an overworked office worker, and he's stressed, exhausted, like the job's basically killing him, but he refuses to do anything to change the situation for himself. Like he's just kind of like, this is how it is. Like, this is what my job is. This is what I have to do. Like, I don't have any options. And he's so exhausted that he passes out on the sidewalk and some random guy comes up to him and is like, oh, like, are you dead? Are you alive? What's going on? And it ends up being Kai, who's like a childhood friend. And they get into a weird situation where Kai was kind of like, we promised to get married. I'm coming to live with you. I'm going to take care of you. And it's about them living together, but it's more about kind of Kai pushing Hero to realize he deserves more in life and he doesn't have to have this terrible job. He doesn't have to be exhausted. Like he should be allowed to eat well and get good sleep and not stay at his office all night long. Like he should be able to live a good life even if he has a good job. And food comes into play here because Hero doesn't cook for himself. Like he cooks just enough to survive, basically. Like he's not giving himself good meals. He doesn't sleep well. And Kai kind of pushes that because Kai worked at a restaurant. So he's like, I know how to cook. Like, I'll feed you. I'll make you dinner every night. I'll make you breakfast in the morning. I'll make you lunch to take to work. Like, he's forcing him to eat and to be healthy. And even if, Hero comes home late, he's like, dinner's there. I can warm it up. Like, it's done. You just have to eat it. And I think those moments of Kai being like, hey, life can be better. Here's a good meal. Here's something I know that you like. Here's something I made for you specifically. Pushes Hero to question things and be like, maybe I don't need to take my boss being awful to me, or maybe I don't need to stay in the office quite so late, or maybe I can go to the festival and have fun. Like it pushes him to kind of realize that he can do something else. He can be different. He can find a better job, change his situation. And it starts at the food. Like it's not about the food specifically, but it starts there with here's dinner, here's breakfast, take some lunch with you.
It's like that extra level of care of like, if you make this one change of like, instead of having the convenience store noodles, you have a home cooked meal. That's like one thing where it's like, if you make that one small change in your life,
Mm-hmm.
you start to realize like, I'm not going to accept less in other areas. And having that person be like, you deserve better in this regard is going to push you to kind of have that, like, I deserve better in more ways.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the nice thing about that show is like seeing, oh, yeah, I do deserve better. I deserve better in
Mm-hmm.
so many ways. And it was that, like, he was encouraging him that he deserved better in more ways than just the food. But like having him take that off of his plate, so to speak, and be like, you don't have to worry about making sure that you picked up like onigiri at the convenience and everything. Like you have the food here.
Yeah.
I've already made it for you. You don't have to come home to an empty fridge or an empty plate. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
Was like just that one extra level of care.
And I think I liked that, even though here and for a lot of the show, Hero's still at his job. He's still working late nights. And while Kai didn't necessarily agree with it or like it, he was like, that's okay. If you come home at midnight, dinner's waiting for you. Like, I accept whatever you want to do, but the only thing I don't accept is you not eating or you not sleeping well. Like, that's the one thing. And I think that was nice because it was pushing Hero, but pushing him in a way that it wasn't like forcing him to make a decision. It was like, you can keep working at this job, that's fine. But I'm just going to make sure you come home to dinner or you have something to take with you in the morning. Like, at the least, you're going to eat well.
Yeah, it's like I don't like that you are accepting poor treatment for yourself, but also I can't force that change on you.
Yeah.
I am not going to control you by making decisions for you. What I am going to do is make your life easier in the ways that I can
Mm-hmm.
and insist that you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
You have to make the other decisions. I can tell you that I don't like the decisions you're making.
Yeah, exactly. And it showed a level of care because I think Hero wasn't used to people caring about him in that way. And it showed him like somebody cares about what I do, but they're not going to force me to do anything. And I think that's a different feeling than having someone forcing you or pressuring you to make a decision or make a change, is having someone be like, I'm going to be here regardless of what you do. Like, I'm going to support you. I'm going to care about you. I'm going to feed you regardless of your choices.
Yeah. And like knowing that that support won't change even if you make a decision they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing is like, if you know someone's going to keep showing up for you no matter what, like it makes making those decisions a little bit easier
Exactly.
because you know that their love and their care for you isn't contingent on you doing the thing that they want you to do.
Yeah, because it's not an ultimatum. It's not like I'm gonna leave if you don't quit your job. It's like, no, I'm still gonna be here. I'm still gonna cook for you. Like, I'll stay until our agreed upon end date, right?
Yeah.
But I would prefer if you made this choice, but that's up to you. You have to do it yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's the nice thing in so many like shows we do get that kind of like ultimatum and to not have that ultimatum and to be like, nope, I'm gonna keep showing up consistently
Mm,
until the end, like that's a good thing, I think.
yeah, I agree.
I and I would say that's kind of a similar thing to the show that I picked next, which is Choco Milkshake. Um, and it was kind of a last minute addition to my list, but you know that
It
I
really
watched this one
was.
recently and like it has not left my head at all since I watched it. And so it's like the only thing I can think about. I already want to rewatch it and I keep telling myself like I have so many shows on my watch list, but um this is one of those again where it's like I'm going to keep showing up for you. I'm going to be loyal to you. I'm going to be right here for you
Mm-hmm.
until I absolutely have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, like the show follows um Choco and Milk, who are a dog and a cat that are reincarnated in human form and have come back for their human because he has like one night drunkenly called out for them and they have come back for him to spend time with him and they do have kind of like a time limit on this. But they come and they are there to take care of him, there to spend time with him, there to make him feel less alone. That is their entire purpose in being back. Um, but you have this thing where they are just so cat and dog like in their like forms,
Yeah.
but they are also so purely human. Like they can do all of the human experiences. They can walk around, they can talk, they can interact, they can taste human food in a way that isn't harmful for them. And so, this is their first time really getting to experience human food without any physical sort of consequences. Um, and so their reactions to that and their enjoyment of that is, of course, very intriguing. But I also really love the scenes in which Chaco has kind of gone out of his way to make things that he remembers from his past life. So, like, when his human gets sick, um, he remembers that he really liked taking his medicine with chocolate milk. And so he makes him chocolate milk. Like, this is something you love. And he's like, I haven't done that since I was like really young. And he's like, well, I can get you water, I guess. And he's like, no, no, like it's fine. And like he still takes the chocolate milk. And like he also makes him omerize because like he knew that his mom made it for him when he was sick and he had stolen like some of it as a dog
Hmm.
and was like trying to recreate it from having stolen that. And like he was like doing his best to remember how it tasted. And just this idea of like, I remember these things about you. I'm going to recreate this for you is so precious. And then alternately, you have this other storyline where you have Milk, who was formerly a cat, and you have his like black cat energy of like, he is so opinionated. He is so like just just dismissive and so like whatever, like very eye roll behavior. And so you have Uncle who owns this restaurant bar establishment. And at one point, he like makes Milk try all of the food dishes on his menu and give his opinion on everything. And it's so funny because later he like asks our main character, Human, to like try the food. And he's just like, yeah, it's good. It's delicious. And he's like, just delicious? And it like offends him because he doesn't give an in-depth opinion the way Milk would. Because like Milk would have been like, it needs more of this. Like it's good, but like it's not hitting the way that it needs to. Like if you would add this, then it would be perfect. And like give this like actual in-depth opinion. And so it's so funny to see what food means to the two different like reincarnated animals and the
Hmm.
ways in which they interact with food. It's so different. But both of them like connect with others through that form of food. So, like, one of them is giving food because he remembers the ties that it caused. Like he remembers how important those things were, like when you're sick, when you don't feel well. Um, and then you have this other one who's like, oh, if you'll give me food, I guess I'll eat it. It's fine. And like there's this scene in which like they're each handed a cherry tomato and like Milk like takes it and looks at it and then puts it in his mouth and Choco just like eats it out of his hand. And so it's like you see their personalities through their interactions with food more than anything else. Like
Yeah.
that's where it shines. Um, but like food is also the way that we get like the first like physical interaction between the two characters because like in a romantic sense like we have them eating something, whipped cream gets on the side of our human's face. And of course, our little puppy dog, Chaco, leans in and just like kisses it off, like, oh, whipped cream, let me have it.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have food as connection. You have food as like that intimacy spark. You have food as like memories. And so food plays so many roles in this show that's not even necessarily about food.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is you've got this show that it's like this show's not about food. This show is about a reincarnated cat and dog. But it's like food plays such an integral role in so many different aspects of the show. And that's why it's like one of my top food picks.
It's a good pick because even with Milk, when Uncle, like when they're first meeting, Uncle brings them the waffles, and puts it down, and like Milk doesn't eat it initially until Uncle leaves, and then he takes a bite and is like, "Oh, this is actually good." But it's like that connection of like, I don't trust this person, so I'm not going to eat in front of you. Leaving only to be like, "Oh, the food is actually really good. Like, I really like this. I want to eat it." And that just like the personalities they have, even with the coffee, when they first have coffee and they're just given like black coffee and they're like, Milk is like, this is awful, this is terrible, pushes it away, and Choco's tasting it like it's kind of bitter, but should I keep drinking? Like they're very much
Yeah.
cat and dog, but also very
Yeah.
much like humans experiencing the human world and figuring out their taste and their like what flavors they like. But it also
Yeah.
brings all these characters together.
And it's so funny because like you see Choco like sniffing the coffee and then tasting it again and then sniffing it and then tasting it. And it's such a dog-like thing. And Milk is like, you don't have to drink it. Like you
Exactly.
don't have to keep subjecting yourself to that if you don't like it. And it's so funny because it's like Milk knows you can just push it away. But Choco's like, no, I need to be polite. Like I've been given this food. I need to consume.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't have to. And it's like there's like almost this childlike wonder of like, yes, I'm learning my taste for the first time because they're reincarnated in the sense that they were animals, now they're humans.
Hmm.
But like they came to the world as like fully formed adult
Yeah.
humans. They did not experience like childhood. They did
No.
not go through all of that. Like they came to the world, they are adults, they are learning to interact with the world as adults. So like in a way you've got that like kind of like alien-esque like
Yeah.
personality of like we've experienced this world before, but
Not in the same way.
not like this. This is
Yeah.
different. This is a new
I
experience.
think that's what's interesting too, is that because they were already on Earth, like they understand the concept of a lot of things, but they never had the opportunity, right? Like they never got to eat certain things or drink certain things or even do certain things. So now as humans, it's kind of like, oh, I can eat this. I can eat chocolate. I can eat all these different things that as a cat or a dog I wouldn't have gotten. I can eat something that's not the same food every single day, like they get to finally experience that, and you can see it in how they react to like each dessert that's given to them or each drink that's given to them. And we see over
Yeah.
time in the show, like they obviously have drinks they like because they start off with being handed coffee to the end of the show. They're only drinking like orange juice and milk,
Yeah.
right? Like that's all they're ever given is orange juice and milk by the end, right? And it's like
Yeah.
you can see they're figuring out what they like through food, through the people around them by trying different things.
Hmm. And it's they kind of get used to it. And like you have these scenes where like at first Milk won't eat in front of Uncle. But then by the end, it's like, oh yeah, they're eating together, they're drinking together,
Mm-hmm.
they're spending time together with food, with drink. And it does become more relaxed and you see that trust form. And so it's like you see the ways in which they connect largely through those food scenes.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like it's you almost have this show that is like this show is not about food. This show is very, very much about food.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a food show, but it is a food show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's funny that they kind of learn to see the world differently through food because that's similar to my next pick, which I didn't even put the two things together until now, but they like almost learn about like different belief systems or different like how to interact with the world through food and through being given food. And in Mr. Mitsuya's planned eating, it's similar. So we have Ishida, who's like a newbie editor at a fashion magazine, and he's completely unfulfilled and lost in his life. Like he doesn't like his job. On the day that we meet him, he's like about to resign, but all of a sudden he kind of is forced to go get the manuscript from like a famous culinary researcher that writes a column for the magazine. So he's going there. He ends up passing out because he runs the whole way in the middle of summer and wakes up to this, much older man who has been cooking his entire life, is famous. And the Mitsuya, the chef, he's kind of like, you passed out, like, I'll get you a drink. Are you hungry? Like, let me cook something for you. And Ishida's boss even said, like, if he offers you food, you have to eat it. Like, that's what he does to all of his editors. You have to eat his food. So Ishida's kind of like, okay, like, I'll eat, and they sit and kind of have this conversation about life, even in a very short, like their very first meeting. Mitsuya is kind of like, it doesn't matter how much time you have, like you should have time for a good meal. Like you shouldn't eat convenience food all the time. Like you should take care of yourself because what's the point of life if you're not enjoying it? Basically, is kind of his whole philosophy, right? He's like 52-year-old guy who gardens and hangs out with his dog and cooks and does live streaming cooking shows. Like his life is very much be relaxed, enjoy what you're doing, eat good food, right? And Ishida kind of has this spark of like, I didn't even consider enjoying food or enjoying part of life. Like he had just gotten to this point of, I'm stuck at this job. I don't know what to do. I don't like my job. Should I quit? Like, what am I doing with my life? And over the time of Ishida being his editor, they get closer, they're eating more, they're going to all these places, and like their relationship develops. And I think it's interesting because their age gap is so huge. Like, it's Ishida's 27 and Mitsuya's 52. So, like, they're lifetimes apart, right? In a way. And how they interact is interesting because Mitsuya, while he has this idea of you should enjoy life, he's also not really enjoying life. He's just kind of going through the motions, and like he enjoys food, but he's not passionate or he's not excitable. Whereas Ishida's like this very excitable guy. He's like, every time he eats something, he's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is delicious. Like he's so happy to eat good food. And you see the two of them kind of learning from each other and growing together and like learning based on how different they are and kind of meeting in the middle with life and like philosophy. And eventually, like Ishida realizes like he's into this man and he doesn't know what to do. And Mitsui is like, no, like I'm way too old for you. Like your parents would hate me. You know, like it's very much that like, no, 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 we're not doing this. But they obviously have something that the other person is getting out of the situation. Like they're obviously meant to learn from each other and be together in a way. And I think it's really lovely to see that it's really about the food. Like the food in the show is crazy. Like it's so good. Like like this is a show that will make you drool and be so hungry. Like don't watch it on an empty stomach because the food looks so good. Like if I could eat there, that's the one show I'd go into just to eat the food because like it looks so good. Like out of this world good.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
they grow so much just over a plate of food or over a bowl of food. Like all of their important conversations happen over food. All of the moments of like tension and confusion and trying to figure out what are we doing, how is this going to work is over food. It I don't know. It was a last minute addition for me too because I only recently watched it and I was like I'm obsessed. I need 10,000 hours more of this show.
and see, that to me is like the marker of a good show too, is when you watch it and you're just like, I need more. I would have watched so much more of this. And that's how
Mhm.
I was with Choco Milkshake, of like, I would watch so many more seasons of
Yeah.
this. Like, I don't even necessarily need plot. Like, just give me these characters, give me more food, like, give
Yeah.
me more of them interacting. I just am obsessed.
It honestly surprised me because I'd seen people being like, "Oh, I don't love this," or "It's not a great show," whatever. So I was kind of like, "I'll just put it on as something to watch, and maybe it'll be good." And then I was like, "This is so good!" Like,
Yeah.
yes, there's an age gap, and it's not one we typically see. Like, it's a pretty big age gap, but the way the relationships are handled is so mature. Like, there's no unnecessary conflict. There's no, playing with power. Like there's no power dynamic. Like the power dynamic between Ishida and Mitsui, yes, there's an age difference, but like nobody is playing for anything here. Like they're not trying to get anything out of each other. They're not looking to take advantage of the situation. It's very much just Mitsuya being kind of taken by this like young, bright kid who doesn't know what to do with his life, kind of lost his way. And Ishida being like, this is kind of what I want to grow up to be like someone who's kind of secure in themselves, who knows what they want, who has passion and is
Yeah.
living the life they want to live. And just how they navigated all of that, plus an ex returning, like, oh, it was the relationships and how they handled it was so good. It was just like, as an age gap, amazing. The food, amazing. I don't know. I love it. It's probably one of my tops at this point because it's so good.
It seems like a really well done thing that hits on like several notes, but like the food does seem like a phenomenal part of it. And to me, like anytime like good conversation is had over food, connection is had over food, like that's such an important thing.
Hmm.
Because I feel like as humans, so much of our life is spent like connecting over food, communicating over food. like having that time over food.
Yeah. Yeah, the food is important. Like obviously we need to eat, but especially in this show, like the food was the vehicle that pushed everything forward. It was the reason they kept seeing each other. Like Ishida was excited to go back because he's like, I can't wait to see what Mitsuya is going to cook for me next. I can't wait to eat the next meal. Like the whole plot, the story was driven by food, and it meant more than just the food because as it went on, Mitsuya started trying new recipes because he was wondering if Ishida would like it, or using ingredients differently, or whatever. Like it was all driven by the food.
And so like the food was kind of that vehicle forward for them to connect.
The food was like almost a character in itself. Like setting can be a character. Like in this show, like the food was very much a character because it was, portraying emotion and like different situations. It was unfinished food, or finishing the whole plate, or, realizing that this dish is actually tastes like something else I've already made, or whatever it is. It was its own character in a way.
Yeah. And to me, that's like, I think it's really great when you can have something so well done that it's like, this stands out as something that is beyond like just an ordinary, like, it's not just food. It's not just setting. It's not just like, it's intrinsic to the actual like plot. It's
Yeah.
important beyond what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's kind of how I feel about my next pick, which is Cooking Crush. Um, because in it you have two characters who connect over food also. And the whole bulk of their connection is through cooking classes and one character teaching the other how to cook. Um, so in it you've got like this rom-com basically of you have like Dr. Ten is a medical student and he is like working himself to the bone. Um, and so he is like on the verge of passing out. He has not eaten all day. Like this is a common thing in cooking related shows.
Yeah.
Um, and you have Prem who is like struggling in his cooking program. He is a culinary student. He is trying so hard, but like you have these like horrible other students who are like bullying him, trying to sabotage him and his group in the culinary program. So he is staying late. He is trying to work on his dish. He like has this dish completed and Dr. Ten comes and like smells this dish and is like, I am so hungry. I would give anything to eat this food. Like, let me just have a bite.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, it's garbage. Like, it's terrible. I already know it's terrible. It's like got horrible reviews from the chef, got horrible reviews from everyone. Like, you're not even gonna like it. And Dr. Ten takes a bite and like is just like, this is so good. This is amazing. I'm obsessed. And he's like, I need you to teach me how to cook. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But like, ultimately, he needs a lot of money very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Prem wants to join a cooking contest. And part of that is he has got to get some money. Like, his family business is struggling. Like, money is going to be very helpful to him. And 10 is a very, very wealthy individual because his dad has money. And so he decides he's going to pay for very expensive cooking classes. And Prem is like, I'm going to charge a ton of money for these. Are they worth it? Probably not. Doesn't matter. He can pay. It's fine. And kind of extorts him a little bit. Um, but with this, like, this show is like the first rom-com that you have from Off Gun, who like they had just come off of Not Me, which was like a major like drama, like super intense, very like political. And then you have them in not like you have them in Cooking Crush, and it is like the fluffiest fluff to ever fluff. And so I feel like a lot of people kind of like overlooked Cooking Crush or like weren't sure about like the chemistry because in this you had like some dead fish kisses and things like
Mm,
that between them. But I think the thing is, people are criticizing it without having seen their chemistry in Not Me. Because it isn't that Off Gun don't have chemistry on screen. It's that Prem and Ten are so awkward. And Off Gun play that awkwardness so well. So, like, the dead fish kisses are not Off Gun being unable to kiss on screen. In Not Me, they prove they could do it. In The Trainee, they prove they can do it. But in Cooking Crush, you have two people who have never really kissed anybody before trying to kiss. So it is like they are so awkward. They are so unsure of themselves. And it's all about like them not really being sure of
mhm,
anything. And that's the thing is like you have this thing of they're so awkward. They're so unsure of each other. They're so like all of their tension comes from within. And so you had this show that they acted together where like all of their stuff that was happening was like these big societal issues. They were dealing with like capitalism and marriage inequality and like all of these big things. And here you have them dealing with like personal loss and divorce within the family and a parent getting a new relationship and not being sure how to deal with that. You have um like people sabotaging you as you're trying to get ahead. You have someone you look up to turning out to not be who you thought they were and realizing that that really impacts your future and whether or
mm,
not you want to go down the path you planned. Um, you have like wanting to compete in a cooking show, but then that putting tension and stress between your friend group. And so you have like all of these super interpersonal struggles. And the one person that they can lean on in all of these interpersonal struggles is each other and these cooking classes. And you have these two people from very different walks of life bonding over cooking together and like learning how to cook together. And you have these moments where like one of them burns their fingers and because the other one is a doctor with medical knowledge, he's like, here, you can put them on my earlobes and that's going to cool them down. And so it's like you have those moments of intimacy that are so small, but so pure and so thoughtful. And that's like, to me, where it really shines is like all of this chaos is happening in their interpersonal life.
mhm.
But it's not like that wide sweeping chaos that we've seen them act in before. It's not like big societal problems that they have to conquer. It's like, my life is so difficult right now. I feel the burdens of this. You're the one person I can reliably lean on. And I'm going to teach you how to cook. I'm going to learn how to cook. This is going to bring back a lot of memories for me. This is very important to me in a lot of ways. And I feel that comfort from you through this process, through cooking together,
Mhm.
through spending time together, through picking ingredients together. And that's kind of where it gets that like level of intimacy.
I think that's really sweet because it's just time spent together. Like they could be doing anything really, but it's the fact that it just happened to be, oh, I'm going to teach you to cook. I'm going to learn to cook. That the aspect of cooking becomes important because they could be doing anything. And there would be
Yeah.
this a similar level of time spent together if they're doing any other hobby or any other skill, right? But it's food became the vehicle.
Yeah. And they're from such different like walks of life that if it weren't for the food, it's not likely that they would have connected on a deeper level, but it's because of the food that they're able to connect with each other and
Yeah.
spend that time together. And so it's nice because it's like they both have their own separate like people that they can rely on, but it's like because they have that in common, they're able to find this new person that matters deeply to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what like really shines there is it's they have this thing in common, this
Yeah.
food, this dish, this hobby. that becomes important to both of them.
Yeah. Which finally goes into the next one, which we I think both have on our list,
Yes.
which is our
Yes.
dining table. We both love it.
Yes.
So we follow Utica, who is like an office worker, struggles to eat in front of other people. So he hasn't really made friends with his coworkers or seen his family for a long time. And he's eating lunch in a park and just happens to have this little boy sit next to him and be like, I want your food. And he meets Tane, the little boy, and Minoru, his older brother. And basically, they ask Utica to teach them how to make onigiri. And from that point on, the story just takes off where they're learning to cook together, they're hanging out together, going to the grocery store together, um, hanging out with Tane, learning to make bento for him with cute little octopus sausages. And they just like grow as friends, but eventually Utica and Minoru kind of realize their feelings for each other, aren't really sure what to do with that situation, and it's cute. And the food is always looks tasty.
Yes, this is the one that had me like getting bento cookbooks from the library, had me like trying to figure out the little octopus
Mm-hmm.
sausages, like had me trying to figure out like making my own like the giant onigiri that he made. Like I had to try everything that I could from this show. It was so
This show
good.
literally prompted both of us to learn how to make onigiri.
Yeah. I
Like,
remember like we were both
actually.
sending each other pictures of the like attempts and
Yeah.
it was like it was a big thing. And then of
Yeah.
course like reading the manga, it was very good. Like for me, I feel like the thing that was so good about this one, and I think that it emphasized kind of the same way for me, like I Hear the Sunspot did, is like that quiet and comforting nature of food in
Mm-hmm.
Japanese television. Like we see food as that form of connection again. And like we're greeted with this as this idea of like two men connecting with each other because this child is like fascinated by the large onigiri
Yeah.
and being like, I want that food. Um, and like that idea that he was not too like Tane was not too or not Tane, but he was like not too prideful to ask like how did you do that? Like I can't get the rice right. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this. I can't give him the food. I can't give Tane the food that he wants. I don't know what I'm doing. I am failing at this. Clearly you know what you're doing. And like being able to go to him and be like I need help
Mm-hmm.
is massive.
I think it's really interesting too because like Utica doesn't eat with people. Like that's his one big thing. It's like he's just not comfortable eating around other people, yet he can cook, but he also very much is like I'm not even a good cook. Like I just know how to make simple food. Like I know how to make food for myself because most of the time he'll just buy something pre-prepared from the grocery store anyways. Like he's not someone who claims to be an amazing chef or like wants to do it on any level other than I cook to feed myself and that's about it. Yet
Mhm.
for Tane and Minoru, it's like a huge deal because their dad doesn't cook well. So they're just eating basically what Minoru or like neighborhood grandma is offering them, like there's not a lot of experimentation or different meals for them. They're kind of eating the same things all the time. So to them, it's like a big deal.
Yeah, you have this person who's like, I'm only able to make simple things. And they're like, that's all we care to eat is
Mm-hmm.
simple things. Like that's our taste level. That's our preference is these simple meals, these
Yeah.
comforting things. Like it's home cooked, like that's what matters to us.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like another thing that I really love about it is Tane is not looked at as like this big inconvenience. Like the show is not a single parent romance in that like the main character is not a single parent. Like his father is present in the show, but he bears a lot of the responsibility of taking care of his younger
Yeah.
brother. Um and so it kind of gives the same vibes of a single parent romance in that like this is a child who's like ever present. Like
Hmm.
these two are acting kind of as caregivers for the child in their interactions. They have to look
Yeah.
after him, they have to adapt their time together around this other person, this tiny child who like relies on them. And so it's one of those things where it like falls into that category. And so when you're talking like food in that context, simple meals are perfect. That's exactly what they would want. So
Hmm.
you have like the aquarium thing, and it's like, I'm gonna make a bento that's like perfect for that. And just the thought and care that goes into that, and like thinking about what a child's taste would be, but also making it special for all three of them
Yeah.
is really, really like beautifully done in that show.
It's so well done, especially because like while Minoru's not the parent, he very much has taken on the like stay-at-home parent role because his dad is working to pay for everything and take care of them financially. So there's nobody else but him. And, he's doing his best. I mean, he's still a kid himself in a lot of ways, right? Like he's not a parent of it. He doesn't have a family of his own. He's just taking care of his little brother. So he's struggling at moments, but he's doing the best he can. And Utica comes in and he doesn't even question it. He's like, "Oh, you take care of your little brother. Okay, cool. Like we can work with that. That's fine. I have no problem with that." Whereas other people in their lives haven't felt the same way. They're like, "Why are you taking care of your little brother? Why you shouldn't have to do this?" And Utica comes in with like literally no judgment. He's just like, "Oh, your little brother's always here. You watch out for him. You take him to school. You take him here. You do that. Okay, that's great. Sounds great. He's fun. Love him."
Well, and that's the thing that becomes like that kind of like sticking point in so many of the other relationships is like, oh, why is your brother always around? Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
have to make time for your brother. And the fact that that isn't a sticking point between the two of them is, I think, where he starts to go like, oh, maybe my feelings for you are different. Like
Yeah.
you treat him with respect.
And even
And
like
that's,
in the
yeah.
food, Utica like brings everything down to Tane's level. Like, this is how you make an
Mhm,
onigiri. Like, I'll teach it to you. You're a kid.
mhm,
I'll teach it to you in a way you understand rather than just directing it at the other adult in the room. Like, everything is
yeah.
based around what do you like, Tane? What ingredients do you like? What should we put in this food?
Mhm. And that's the thing is like, for me, we talk about accessibility in terms of disability and things like that, but also accessibility in terms of like a child's tastes and
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like foods that can be accommodating for all because they're adjustable to different people's tastes.
Yeah.
One thing that Yukata talks about is like, this is like onigiri is a clean slate. It's something that you can put anything you like. If you like this, this is what goes in it. And he wasn't really fazed by any of the wild ingredients that
No.
Tane could dream up putting inside of the onigiri. He was just like, yeah, that sounds fun. If that's what you want to put in yours, go for it. This is what I'm going to put in mine. And it just became this thing of like, here's the base of this meal. Put in it what you would enjoy, and I will put in it what I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And we each can make our own the way that we like it. And it became very accessible for everyone at the table to customize it.
Yeah.
And for me, like living in a neurodivergent family, like having a meal that starts as like a clean slate, and then each person can say, I don't eat meat, or I don't eat vegetables, or I don't do well with these textures. And having that ability to adapt a meal
Mm-hmm.
that everyone can eat to their own preferences by changing the ingredients and just incorporating one ingredient or leaving out another ingredient is a huge part of making that meal accessible for everyone without having to do like 12 different meals entirely.
Exactly. And I mean, we can't talk about our dining table forever because we're gonna do a whole deep dive on it anyways because
Yes.
we're both so obsessed with it. But I think as a whole, it really like highlights how food is that bridge between people and how food brings people together, but is also like a way to show that you accept and care for somebody however they are, whatever their taste might be or whatever their situation might be. And I think
Yes.
it just does it so well. Like it really does because they both like on all three of them accept each other the way they are. And it's really
Yes.
beautiful to see their relationship.
Yes. And that's the thing is like I want to sit here and be like, I could talk all day about our dining table, but you're right. We
Yeah.
do have like an entire other episode planned just
Yeah.
on that topic.
Exactly. We can't keep going because we'll just go forever. Like that's why we needed the
Yeah,
whole episode for it.
exactly. We both love it too much.
Too much. Okay. To avoid talking about our dining table for 10 years, we should go to our honorable mentions next.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
So with honorable mentions, the one thing that we kind of agreed was that these are shows where the food hits, but maybe like other aspects of the shows missed. So
Mm-hmm.
like anything that was in like our top five, like every aspect of the show or most aspects of the show hit, and like we consider those phenomenal shows all around, including the food. And anything on our honorable mentions list, the food is phenomenal, but we have other reasons that we wouldn't rank it as like one of our top shows.
Yeah.
Yes. So for me, one of those that I would say would be 1,000 Years Old. In this, you have a vampire and a human who connect when they first meet each other at a pork blood soup restaurant. And this vampire and this human both feel that they are the VVIP customer of the restaurant and are trying to essentially out eat each other with pork blood soup. That
Okay.
is kind of their meet cute moment. Um, our human Yo is very into aliens and doesn't really believe in other forms of supernatural beings. But for a school project, he needs to get closer to some form of supernatural being. And because he meets this person he suspects to be a vampire, Hun, he ends up like trying to move closer to him, moves into the same building, and tries to connect with him. In terms of food, the food aspect of this show is so charming. You have them connecting over pork blood soup, and it's so funny because you have this vampire who obviously loves pork blood soup because that is a way he can consume blood without consuming it from a human.
Mm-hmm.
You have this human who loves pork blood soup because it's a Thai delicacy. So of course he loves pork blood soup. Like why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Um, their pork blood soup restaurant closes immediately after this interaction. It's closed forever. And so, because of their bond over pork blood soup, they decide to open the restaurant on the rooftop of their shared like apartment building. And so, anytime that they're connecting over this and trying to market the restaurant, trying to figure out how to cook the soup, they interact with like a young woman who knows how to make the soup better. Um, all of that is done so well. The rest of the show is kind of a hot mess in terms of storytelling. It tries to do a little bit too much of everything else. So you have like this school project about the supernatural, but like halfway through it kind of gets abandoned and not mentioned again.
Mm-hmm.
You have a plot line about a vampire wedding that's kind of half-assed and like doesn't really get thoroughly fleshed out, and it only gets brought up partway through, and it's supposed to be conflict like add to the conflict of the story, but it doesn't really. And then like there are things that just never get wrapped up. And so I feel like if you're watching this because you love the idea of two people making a restaurant together and you love the idea of two people connecting over a shared meal that they both love, it's a great watch. If you're watching it for a coherent plot line, it's not the best.
Not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, the food, like the concept of making a restaurant together sounds really interesting. Like that sounds like it would be fun to watch and like see how they figure that out. But yeah, the plot around it is kind of wild. Like, I don't know.
It's very messy.
I mean, sometimes a messy show is fine. Like sometimes you want that, just
Yeah.
depends what you're looking for.
It's not like messy, like OnlyFriends mess, where there's like, it's messy on purpose and you want everyone
Mm,
to like be mess.
yeah.
It's not like I love a mess kind of mess. It's
Okay.
like messy, like I think a few too many people were in the writer's room throwing out plot ideas and they didn't know which ones to incorporate and
Right.
which ones to leave behind.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
See, you get me with vampires and restaurant, and then lose
Yeah.
me with stuff that's not necessary.
Yes. They could have streamlined the plot and it would have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's great for the restaurant aspects of it. Love that part.
Okay. Okay. I mean, you never know. Might watch
Yeah,
it just for the restaurant.
exactly.
Okay, my honorable mention is What Did You Eat Yesterday? Which, like, honestly, I loved. Like, it's not an honorable mention because, like, I didn't enjoy it. It's just not, like, at the top of my food related favorites, I think. So
Mhm.
basically, we follow Shiro and Kenji, who are like 40 somethings, gay couple who've been living together for years. Shiro's a lawyer and Kenji's a hairdresser. And it really just follows like their lives and how they're how they interact over dinner when they come home after work and sharing meals with their friends and what they eat at Christmas and all these different things. It's very much like a slice of life kind of story about these two older men in a relationship. And the food in it was really great because we have Shiro who's like he loves to cook. He's an amazing cook. He's really into like budgeting and making sure ingredients are, affordable, whatever. But part of the thing I liked about it was like he really talks through what he's doing when he's cooking. So for a lot of the moments where he's cooking, like in a scene, he'll tell you you need this much of whatever ingredient and you're going to chop these things up. Like he tells you exactly how to make it. So if you wanted to learn how to cook some of these, like you could probably follow them pretty easily and like actually cook what he made in the show. Um, so like that aspect of it, I really enjoy because like some of the things you see what they're eating and you're like, how do you make this? And like they give that to you. They give you, a number of moments throughout the show where they walk you through each step of how to make something or how to turn something into something else or whatever. I think the reason it's not a favorite for me, partially is just the slice of life aspect, which like I love slice of life. Like it's not something I don't like, but I think because we have like an older established couple, a lot of it is it's just real life, which is good in moments. Like it is good, but I think it's a lot of it because I think there's the main season and then I want to say a second season and maybe a movie or two. Like it's a lot. And not a lot happens. Like there is some plot. There are moments where they're dealing with, you know, Kenji is more open about his sexuality than Shiro is, and how do you navigate that? And meeting another gay couple as friends, and how do you navigate going to a restaurant with them if one of you isn't comfortable being open about your sexuality? Like there's a lot of interesting points and discussions there, but I think because it's so slow, it's not something that like I'm gonna go to again and again and again. Like I still loved it. I recommend it. Like I think people should watch it for sure. But it's definitely something that's like I enjoyed it. It did some really good things, had some really amazing discussions about life as an older gay person and like dealing with that and like dealing with that in your friends, your coworkers, people around you. But it didn't hook me in the way some of the other shows did.
So it's like one of those that's like a good one-time watch.
Yeah, like I mean, maybe one day I'd watch it again if I wanted something just like slow, chill, even as like kind of background, like I'm gonna do something else and I want something on because it is very like cozy and comforting. Like it's not stressful. It doesn't have a lot of action or anything to like kind of make you stressed.
Yeah.
But it's not one that I'm like, oh, I need to see this interaction again. I need to see them do this again. Like it's very much just like, yeah, we're following a normal couple, which is fine. It's nice. It's great. And the food is amazing, but
Yeah,
it doesn't make me as excited as some of the other shows.
that makes sense. For me, like one that the food was amazing, but it just didn't make me as excited would be Although I Love You and You, which is also a Japanese show. And for me, it's one where I couldn't include it in my top five because, like, everything hit in a lot of this, including the food. The food especially hit. But the main problem that I had with this show is that in the end, I was not rooting for the couple to end up
Mm,
together.
yeah.
I honestly wanted them to end up with other people.
That's
And
a tough
so,
one.
yeah, it's like I loved everything about this show. These two did not belong together. So, in this, you have a salaryman who is new to town. He
Mhm.
has come in from another part of Japan and is struggling with the food, the dialect, the culture of the new town that he is in. And then you also have a restaurant owner who is very laid back. He runs his restaurant, loves his restaurant, is very passionate about it, but, does use a lot more slang, is like, you can very much tell that it's a different part of Japan. Um, and the food is really the big thing that they start to connect over because you've got the salary man who's like, I don't like the food here. I don't like the people here. I don't like anything about being here. I'm just here for a few months. I got to get through it and then I can go home.
Mhm.
He is freshly divorced. It's like one of those situations where he is like completely a fish out of water. And he stumbles upon this restaurant and realizes he actually really likes the food there. And he likes the owner of the restaurant. But like for me, it very much feels like a rebound relationship. It very much feels like he doesn't really know anybody else. So this is just like a comfort to him. He likes the food. The two of them kind of connect over the food, and the food looks amazing, of course. And the one thing that I really do also like about this is I feel like, when you come from a large country like the US, you think about like the differences between regions and the differences between dialects and things like that. Like I'm from the Midwest, and like if you go to the South, like someone has a different accent or something, but it's still pretty understandable. And like even like if you go from the South to like the Northeast or something, like you still can understand everyone. But it's like at times you have these two characters in this small country going from one region to another, almost being like, it's so hard to understand you. It's like impossible to understand you. And so it's like having that kind of like from like this Western lens of like a very large country being like, Japan is so tiny. How can you not understand each other hardly when you're like so close? It's like a couple hour train ride and you're right there. It was like really eye-opening to me of like
Yeah.
how much culture can change in such a short distance away because of the history and the culture and the landscape of Japan and the ways in which that has impacted the different cities there. And so I like that aspect of it. I like that like reference point of being able to teach me a little bit more about different spaces in Japan and the ways in which they interact and the differences between them. But I just feel like I couldn't root for the main characters. And that's why I can't be like, oh, this is absolutely in my top five. It's like, I love the food in this. I would absolutely eat every single dish on that show. I love the cultural implications and information in the show. I love so many parts of the show. I love several of the characters in the show, but it's not in my top five.
I mean, if you can't root for the couple, it's kind of hard to put it as and unless they're supposed to be messy and toxic together, like it's hard to get on board.
Yeah, and I don't think the intent was for them to be messy and toxic together. I think the intent was that they were supposed to work out in the end.
Yeah.
But they introduced other characters that I felt worked with the main characters better and like they actually fit with better. And I'm
Right.
going, why did you end up the way you did? Like this doesn't make sense to me. But that could also just be me at this
Hmm.
point. But I know it's also really hard for us to kind of like narrow down our top five
Yeah.
because I know like we had a much longer list of shows that we both really liked that had food in them, like both
Yeah.
heavy food themes and like lighter food themes. Um, so I'm sure we're gonna share like more things that we love like on our Instagram and other places. That's gonna be probably a big thing.
Yeah. There's always more. Like you're
Yeah.
always finding new food-based shows. There's always a new one. So we'll be talking
Yes.
about them everywhere all the time.
Yes. And I'm sure at some point we'll also probably end up revisiting
Yeah.
this because there are constantly new ones. And
Yep.
like even just since we started kind of like talking about this, both of us had new ones pop up on our list that we weren't aware of when we started talking about it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we also want more recs. So if you guys have like a show that you love, that it has like strong food themes, or that food plays like a critical role, or that it made you really want to eat the food from the show, like we want to know about it. So like you can comment with it, you can tell us all about it, tell us why we should be watching it. Um, because yeah, we always want to know what else we need to be watching.
Yeah, just fill the ever never ending list of things to watch.
Yeah.
Please give us more all the
Yeah.
time.
Because neither of us have a long enough watch list as it
No.
is.